everybody. Welcome back to Confessions of Brokenness. This is episode 2 already, episode 2. And we're going to talk about what to do when you are broken. What do you do when you're broken, when you're hurting, when you're below this place of rock bottom? What do you do? This is what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you what I personally did at the beginning of my journey. The very first, these are the first steps. First baby steps. If you haven't watched the first episode, we talked about brokenness, what that word actually means and how it pertains to my channel. So go back and please watch that if you have not. Without further ado, let's get started. First, I do want to let you guys know that I'm going to be breaking this topic down in several steps. I've got my notes here. So if you see me looking down, it's just so I can make sure that I stay on track because I'm trying to keep these under 5 minutes. So yeah, and I like to talk. I would like talk and never stop. So I need my notes. So the first thing I want to talk about is God is not offended by your brokenness. I have to make that very clear. God's not offended. He's not offended by your level of hurt. He's not offended by your level of pain. He's not offended by the words of your hurt and your pain. He wants the real, raw you when you are in brokenness. He's not offended. He's not. God can handle your words of pain, your words while you're in brokenness and in this very low state. Remember, this is step 1. So this is like the very nitty gritty when you realize like, wow, like I am below rock bottom. And as a matter of fact, God would rather you turn to him and talk to him about your hurt and pain and give him the nitty gritty, give him the rawness of it, give him what you don't like, what you are disgusted by, what's making you upset, what's making you angry. He'd rather you give it to him because if you don't hand the hurt and the pain to him, you will hand it to something else, whatever that looks like, drugs, sex, alcohol, men, woman, to something. Work. You will give the pain to something and you might not realize it. It may not look like it, but you will do it. So God is not offended by your level of brokenness. Speak to him. This is the very first step. Talk to God. Talk to him. Whatever that looks like. There's no right or wrong way. He's not offended by your words when you're in this place of brokenness. Talk point number 2 is we're basically going to do all of the things that we were told not to do. Not because we're petty. It's not because we're petty. But it's just because this is all we have. We're going to give it what we have. So what I mean by that is we're told not to complain to God. Well, guess what? We're going to complain to God. We're told not to focus on ourselves. It's selfish. Oh no, we're focusing on ourselves, sis. Solely on ourselves. It's us. We're focusing on us, nobody else. We're told not to be angry. We're angry. We're hurting. We're angry. And yeah, God, we got some things we want to say. We got to let you know. We're told not to talk to others about our feelings. Only give it to God. Sis. We got to talk. We need community. It is so vital for us to have community. And maybe that's something I'll look into, building a community of broken women, not so that we can stay broken, but so that we can process and journey out of the brokenness. Because remember, that is the ultimate goal. We don't want to stay in it. We don't want to stay in it for so long and then it becomes something else, bitterness and all of these things. We want to accept the fact that we are broken. We want to allow God to meet us there. Allow other women to meet us in that hurt and that pain. And then we want to journey out of it slowly but surely, not being rushed out of it. We just want to journey out of it when we're ready. As we're ready, journeying out of it slowly but surely. We don't want to stay in it. So let me make that very clear. But maybe I will create a group or a community of women who are broken and we're all journeying together and we're all, we all have the end result of coming out. But right now, this is where we are. So that way you can always have somebody to talk to. You need community. I went through my brokenness journey alone, like totally alone. I won't say totally because I did have one friend. My mom, of course, was there for me. I had an aunt, a cousin. So I had people in my family that were there, but I couldn't talk to them about everything. Not that they wouldn't listen. I just wasn't comfortable with pouring everything. So that was really a me thing. That wasn't them, that was just me. And I just felt like, nobody would understand me because they hadn't went through what I went through. They weren't going through what I was going through. So that's really what kept me from that. I want to build a community of women who are broken, just like you are. So we understand. We're not judgmental. We're not any of those things. We understand. We're not afraid to open up to each other. And we're going to be broken together and build to our healing together, but again, slowly but surely when we're ready. So that's talk point number 2. So we're going to do all the things that we were told not to do. We're cutting the rules out. The rules don't matter. We're sitting bitterly, brokenly before God, not bitterly, but brokenly before God. We're telling him how we feel. We're expressing to him our feelings. We're letting him know we hurt. We're letting him know what hurt us, why it hurt us, how we really, tell him how you really feel. That's what we're going to do. That's step 1. Tell him how you really feel. I already explained to you guys pretty much what that looked like in my life of my step 1. I actually went back to find a journal entry for you guys because I was going to share the journal entry, my very first journal entry, because I do want to encourage you to journal. Sometimes it is hard to voice it, especially if you've been taught that you can't talk to God a certain way. It's hard for you to just come out your mouth and voice it. So you have to start writing it down, writing out your raw, broken feelings and letting that just sit there. I went back to find a journal entry, and sis was so broken that, how about I wasn't journaling? I thought I was. I thought I was journaling right after my traumatic event, right after the stuff that broke me. But So I must have really just been like, God, I don't really have nothing to say. I don't know, y'all. But I do encourage you to journal because I did eventually start journaling, I think a month or 2 later. So not too far after, but I did eventually start journaling, and they were very raw emotions, very raw thoughts, just exactly how I feel. So that's what I want to encourage you to do in this place. It's not a necessity. You do what you can. You give what you have, nothing more, nothing less. You may not have anything in you to give because you're so broken. You're so you're still suffering from the effects of the trauma, the effects of the hurt, the effects of the pain, the effects of the brokenness, that you really just don't have anything. That's fine. Rest in it. Just when you're ready to hand the brokenness over to something, give it to God. That's my suggestion. Give it to God. Don't turn to anything else. And let me tell you this. Just because you give it to God does not mean the angels are going to come from heaven and take it away. You're not going to hurt anymore. That's it. That is not what happened to me. I had a long journey to where those things that were hurting me and keeping me up and causing me not to sleep and all of it went away. And I don't fully think, even to this day, I still have some broken places. And so it's been two years, almost 3. It's been a long journey for me. So that's not how it's going to work. You're still going to hurt. You're going to give it to God. You're still going to hurt. You're going to give it back to him. You're still going to hurt. You're going to give it back to him. This is repetitive. This never ends. You got to give him the pain every time it hurts you. Hand the pain over to God. Every time you have the thought, every time you give it to him. And so, again, I want to reiterate that the goal is that we're not going to be here forever, ladies. We're not going to be broken forever. We're not going to be hurting forever. We are planning to slowly but surely come out of this hurt and pain. But right now, you got to sit in it. You got to sit in it and give it to God and know that it's okay. Give yourself grace. Give yourself the love of God. Love on yourself. Love on yourself. Do what you can, whatever that looks like. Give what you can, whatever that looks like. Give to yourself, whatever that looks like. There's no expectations. God is not meeting you in your hurt and pain with expectations. He's not meeting you in your hurt and pain with, you need to do this, you need to do this. No, that is not God. And I know some of you probably were taught that, but that's not God. When you're hurting, it's okay to say, I'm hurting and I don't really have anything to give. This is it. This is how I'm feeling today. And sit on that. That's fine. It's okay. Lightning is not going to come strike you down. I am a walking testimony. Again, it's not to be petty. It's not to stay in that place. It's just that that's where you currently are. And so this is episode 2. I know this was super short and I went way over 5 minutes. It was at least short to me. I went way over 5 minutes this time, but we're probably going to do a step 2, step 3, step 4, all of that of what to do when you are broken. So this concludes step 1 is just talk to God. Tell him how you're feeling. Complain. Do all the things that you were basically told you could not do. Not the sinful things though, but the things that we went over in this video. Give the hurt and pain to God every time it hurts you. And I know that sounds a little kind of like religious, but you gotta give the hurt to something, to somebody. You're either going to give it to the depression, you're going to give it to the anxiety, you're going to, like we talked about in the video, you got to give it to something or somebody. Just give it to God. You don't have to say, oh, holiest of thou, I am hurting. Very real, very raw. This is what's hurting me. I'm not happy about it. I don't even know if you're doing anything about it. I cannot tell you the exchange of words that I had, and God still loves me to this day. I don't have those words anymore. Now, they were not vulgar words. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. Okay? So step 1, God is not offended by your level of brokenness. Do all the things they told you not to do. They told you not to complain. They told you not to focus on yourself. They told you not to be angry. You're angry. It's okay. You're angry. They told you not to talk to others about your feelings. Only give it to God. You need community, sis. We're not doing that. Okay? And all the other things. Why don't you write in the comments? Let me know some things that you may have been told or you have learned that hinders you from going to God with your hurts and pains. Let's talk about that. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. I can't wait to see what you say in the comments. Love you.